everyone, it's January 22nd, and I'm here with this week's Pryde's Picks. Now, this week might look a little bit different to you, maybe even a little ghetto. There's no intro, there's no outro, and you're wondering what the fuck's going on? Well, my video editor boyfriend, who makes all my videos look really great, had to step out of town for work, and although we recorded an amazing issue on Tuesday night early, audio got screwed up and he is gone, so I am recording it with my webcam. So this is going to be uncut, uncensored, hopefully not terrible, and let's just get started. First up is Wolverine and the X-Men issue 40. Now this book has the children of the Jean Grey Academy defending their school from two S.H.I.E.L.D. infiltrators called the Bricklemore twins. While all that's going on, last issue, Scott and Wolverine both ended up at the same site fighting Sentinels that S.H.I.E.L.D. sent after them. And this issue starts off with those two exhausted from the fight, and they're all like sprawled out like, I can't fight you, I'm just too damn tired. They bust their way into like this saloon or factory or store or something. They find booze and they break open some bottles and sit on the floor and reminisce about good old days. They bitch about what's going on now. They kind of find common ground, and I have to say that was really great. It was good seeing them back together again and being brutally honest with each other. So the first part of the book, not my cup of tea, pretty filler, but the part with Wolvie and Cyclops, I'm going to say buy it now. Moving on to All New X-Men issue 22.now and 1. Thank you, Marvel, for your fucking continuity issues. Here we go, is All New X-Men. Now, in All New X-Men, basically, we all know that Cataclysm has, the worlds are all screwed up, there's dimensional pulls, Galactus has shown up in the Ultimate Universe, and now you know why. It's because they've been fucking with, the space-time continuum way too long. And finally, it's like, we're done. And it just shits itself, and next thing you know, Galactus is in the Ultimate Universe, and everything's tearing apart, and Angela pops out. Well, the She-Are show up, and they grab some of the old new X-Men, Jean Grey in particular, and they take her ass away. Now, this is also called The Trial of Jean Grey, issue 1, and I have a feeling that they're going to blame her for all that is bad in the world, when we all know it's Beast's fault. Other than the Guardians of the Galaxy showing up at the end and being like, ooh, my bad, guys, we're a little too late to save her. This book didn't have much going on. I would say wait for the trade, because I am interested to see somebody put that bitch on trial, and it's not even her fault this time. Next up is Cataclysm, X-Men Comics, issue 3. Now, when Galactus showed up on Earth, Pixie took who she could and sent them to a pocket universe, like a pocket dimension, try to keep them safe. And while they're there, they end up getting attacked by all these little Galactus nanobite robots. And Pixie's exhausted. The X-Men are just too tired to fight. Rogue decides she's lost everybody she loves and cares about, so she absorbs the mutant power of everyone around her and goes super fucking Saiyan. And in the process, to escape this pocket dimension safely, they have to lose a member of the team. I don't want to ruin it for you because that part is really devastating, but I'm going to say wait for the trade because I am not loving Cataclysm, but I am loving watching Rogue go fucking psycho and batshit crazy. Let's move on to DC Comics with Batman issue 27. Now, this book reminds us a few issues back, you saw a young Bruce Wayne watching Gordon, when he was his B-cop, take a coat from a family that he's protecting, and basically he's a dirty cop, and in return he ends up getting the coat, the trench coat that he's still wearing today. So you're thinking, damn, Gordon was a dirty cop back in the day, like how trustworthy is he? Well, you see more into his backstory in this issue, and you see why he wears the coat still, and how he came to be the man he is today. I really don't want to ruin it. In the end, Batman finds out that Hellfern isn't the only bad guy in the picture in this issue, and a familiar face is coming back and kicking him in the nuts, metaphorically. I always love Batman. I'm going to say wait for the trade. I do like this issue, and I do like this story arc, but it's not a buy it now unless you love Commissioner Gordon, in which case, do yourself a favor. Next up is Harley Quinn, issue 2. Alright, so I love Harley Quinn, and this book is page after page pop adorable Harley Quinn action, but what it lacks is any content. Basically, basically, Harley's like riding down the road and she sees these people protesting this animal clinic, and it turns out they're killing all these animals that can't get adopted. Which happens. Harley decides that she's going to adopt all the animals, goes in there, fills out an application like a normal person, and the lady rips it up in front of her because she's wearing clown makeup and pigtails. And nobody can take that shit seriously. Bitch doesn't even know how to dye her hair right. So then she decides to call her good pal, Poison Ivy, to come help her out, and they end up making this awesome little forest in her apartment building that she is now a landlord to. The book itself, I mean, there is no content. It's very pop, it's very fun, and if you want to see a morning scene with Harley and Poison Ivy climbing out of bed together, kissing each other in platonic / sexy fashion, I would say pick it up and read it on the shelf, but it's not something you need to buy. It's good to masturbate to. We're going to leave DC and we're going to jump into, this is technically Boom Entertainment, and the division is called Arcadia Black Label. This book is called Hacktivist, and there's a very famous name attached to it, and that name is Alyssa Milano, which, you know, nobody associates with comic books. Now, my buddy at the comic book shop's like, oh, but that's your friend, because he knows that I totally love all my TV characters, and I see them as friends, and he knows that I watch Charmed, but what he doesn't get is, as much as I adore Alyssa Milano in Charmed, Charmed started to suck as soon as they let her and Holly Marie Combs start writing their own episodes and directing them. So anything created by her, I'm completely wary of. But this book has a unique look to it, and the art style is good. It's a very typical, basic art style in any comic book. It's not crappy at all. And there's these two guys, Nate and Ed, and they have created this site called Your Life. And it's basically like Facebook meets LinkedIn, meets every other social network you can think of, all the good stuff put into one, without the government being able to access any of it. They have firewalls, they have everything protecting you, and you're like, this is badass. But what these guys are using it for is a front. They are millionaires, but it's a front for their hacktivist lifestyle. And basically, under the radar, they're like hacking into other government agencies and fucking with Tunisia. And in the end, they are approached by the CIA to maybe work for them. I wasn't too attached to the characters, but it was an interesting idea with the Your Life and what they're doing with that, so I will definitely look out for issue 2. But Alyssa Milano, it's going to take a little more than some pretty pictures to convince me that you are a creator of a comic book. I'm going to say, read it on the shelf and wait for issue 2. Next up, we're moving to Image Comics with Deadly Class issue 1. Now, there is this gentleman named Marcus, and Marcus is homeless. Marcus saw his parents get killed at a young age in a freak accident, and he's been bouncing out of foster homes, and he hates the foster lifestyle, so he just goes homeless. And then he's living on the streets, and he is not doing well for himself. So he's being followed by this girl with tattoos, and you're like, what the fuck is she up to? And she's just watching his life for like a year. He's documenting it in a diary for some reason. He thinks he's a 16-year-old schoolgirl, and people need to read about his homeless lifestyle. And in the end, he is attacked by some police-ish guys. I don't think they're police, but they say they are, because they tried to kill him without any reason. And then he's recruited by this deadly assassin group, and they sent him to, like, assassin school. And as much as it was fun, it kind of reminded me of Five Weapons without the humor and adorableness that Five Weapons had. So I'm going to say read it on the shelf and wait for issue 2 as well. It could be something, but for right now, I'm not totally attached to any of the characters. Last up, we're going to wrap up this week with The Walking Dead issue 120. Now, this is halfway through All Out War. We are on 6 of 12, and I have to say, it finally got to All Out War. Oh my god. So you know how Negan took Rick's friend, the little blonde chick that he thought was Andrea, and he turned her into a little zombie and shoved her into his camp with a bag on her head, so you think that she's like, oh, it's our friend, he's giving her back. And then she starts biting people, right? Well, while that's going on, he has guys around their little fortress throwing grenades in, so everybody's getting blown up, shit's hitting the fan, and basically everybody Rick loves is inside this little fortress city, and they're all on fire. And that's how the issue ends. Negan runs away, and they're like, we won! And then Rick's like, I don't know if we won. And Negan's like, their house is on fire. I'm pretty sure we won that one. And in the end, Oh my god, it's only halfway through, and this is finally what I've been waiting 20 issues for. Some fucking excitement, bodies and blood everywhere, and it has nothing to do with zombies. Kirkman, you just got me back. Buy it now, issue 20 of The Walking Dead, and actually buy the whole story arc too. Wait for the trade as well, because it's finally gearing up to what I wanted it to be. Thank you, Image Comics. And with that, I'm going to remind you one more time to go visit me on Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock on twitchtv.com/notfncute to join me for my game stream. This week we played Marvel Heroes, and there were a bunch of new faces in the chat, and it was so much fun. And it was a free-to-play game, so you guys could have played with me on Steam. Get Steam, add the free-to-play games, or buy yourself some games and play with me, and request whatever you want. And that's about it. So, good night, everybody. Mwah. Boom, 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 boom.